Hello there everyone and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Imperial Destroyer mod. Last time around we defeated the Portuguese on a mighty hill here in India. Since then we have actually marched on. So as I said, I would continue to press the Portuguese and try to capture territory, which I've had. I was able to push through. It took quite a while because of the movement range, but I was able to get to Goa, and I was able to take it. Now, we ended up losing one of the cavalrymen, as we weren't able to fully replenish our troops, but we made it there, and we control the area now, which is great. No, actually, I haven't actually lost the cavalryman. I sent him over here. I completely forgot. I sent him to secure the port, so I can burn it and build a trade port here instead. So we hold Goa. Unfortunately for me, the Portuguese, having lost most of their armies in the Caribbean campaign, have plenty of extra cash to build a new army. So while I was down here securing Goa, they have recruited a new army that is marching directly to Hyderabad. Now, losing Hyderabad would be really bad because it's the best place for recruitment in the area, except for Calcutta or on the island here. But that's way far away from the front lines, as you can see. So losing that is a big no-no. So I've decided to march my army that was in Nagpur, to march that down to Hyderabad to secure it. We have some troops. It looks like we're gonna reach Hyderabad at about the same time. I'm hoping to be first, so we can crush the Portuguese. Hopefully also this army will be recovered soon enough so it can actually push on Satara in Binjapur over here, which would be quite the good catch because the province has a province wealth of 10,000, so that would be really good. My fleet currently is in Calicut to replenish their crew and repair their ships. And that's what's going on in India right now. So not really a layup for a battle, although it looks like we're soon going to come to blows again with the Portuguese army. Again with loads of cannon, but I gather that again they're not going to deploy them in time. Then we go to America, where there hasn't been much going on. I am hoping to move my armies from here, as we're at war with the Portuguese, but the Portuguese hold no territory here, and I mean there's not that much interest to continue conquest in the region, so I'm trying to move. What I'm hoping to do is actually move this army back to Europe, so we have something stationed in our core homeland. That plus the home fleet will be stationed there, just because the problem we had with the French. Now currently, because the British and the French are at war with each other, the British have cleared out the naval ways for us. But as we can see, the French, I mean, when I took over the French countryside, I set all their ports on fire and tried to build fishing ports everywhere. But as we can see now, the French have built dockyards. They have got 3 dockyards in the north and they've got 1 in the south. So they've got no trade ports whatsoever. It's all military ports. Oh yes, I forgot. We kind of have a rebel force running about over here. We got quite a few rebel forces spawned due to the economical woes we had earlier that I wasn't able to stem in time So we do have the rebels over here, and we do have the rebel forces in India. This one right here. I was able to defeat the one that was here by, as I said, combining the garrison in Calcutta together with the one down here, and we were able to destroy them. But still, quite a deal of problem with this province, because we do have Mughal spies causing uprisings in the area, so that's not very good, but hopefully that will change as we go along here. Something that I forgot while we were in America, and where I think the next, or the battle for this episode is going to take place, is that I was able to launch my fleet of carronade ships. This one's named after the cheese. Quite funny. We're Dutch ship, and it's named after a cheese. A Dutch cheese, to be sure, as well, but a cheese nonetheless. The cheese ship. Anyways, the 3 carronade frigates were able to get this army under a most prestigious general. Was able to get down here with, I believe most of these units are from like the original army. So a lot of really good units are part of this army. Anyways, we're finally now the Portuguese have dealt with, we are able to come back to Dutch Guyana, a province actually, the province that is actually like named Dutch Guyana. It's our colony. It's like, it's named after us. We left it so long ago, but now we're back. The interesting thing here, which I'm hoping to show in a video, is just how powerful the carronade frigates are. Because we ran in, when I was moving to pick them up, I actually ran into a Portuguese fleet that was at least twice the size and had at least like 3, maybe even 4 of the 40-gun ships of the line. So like that's 4th rates. And the carronade frigates absolutely slaughter them, because just the amount of damage they do by broadside. Now they do have to be close in terms of range, but the amount of damage they were able to do was kind of insane. I mean, a random cannon shot just sort of missed and just flew away, and I didn't even notice. Later on, I noticed the one ship that was quite far away from the main kind of battle area, because what big part in why I won the battle for the carronade ships was that the enemy sent their ships in one by one, and I was able to use my 3 carronade ships to just pound one into submission one by one. Thing though, I wasn't able to capture that many because we just did so much damage to the actual ships. But I noticed, like, oh, is the battle over? No, there's a few ships way back there. Why have they not arrived? And I noticed that some of their sails, like the masts. Now you can cut the mast completely, like down by the deck, but there's also a point where you can cut it high up. And that's what had happened on one of these bigger 40-gun ships that was quite far away. A stray cannonball had just flown away from the battle where we were firing over there, had flown away and just accidentally gone there, and just because of the output of the heavy damage of those carronade shots, just as one shot, it just cut the mast in half. So that was pretty cool. So hopefully, I think once I'm done here, I should be able to get the carronade fleet over to India, and then we're going to have the carronade ships take part in my planned massacre of the Mysore fleet, where we'll absolutely devastate them, and I'll show the power of the carronade fleet. But for now, I'm gonna end turn, and most likely, it's almost like I've seen this happen before. The Indians, the Native Americans, young man afraid of his horse. Wait, that's his? Oh, so that's his Indian name? It seems like they are sort of North American Plains Indians, or just Indians, North American Indians, and that seems like a North American Indian name, more so than a South American. Young man afraid of his horse. Not a good start, it seems. Kind of interesting there. I don't know, is that common, that North American, or is it specific? I don't know, like, is it specific for one tribe? Because I generalize, of course, when I say North American Indians, but the tribes of North America, I imagine, are just as sort of diverse in their culture as you would see European nations and so on, or African nations as well, or well, the entire world, as it were, but oftentimes kind of all mixed together. The Indians, the North American Indians. So I'm not sure, like, if the naming of, like, when you see these kinds of names, like young man afraid of his horse, or the whatever they're called, the creeping turtle, maybe, or not like that, but given names like that. I don't know where I'm going with this, but especially since I don't really know anything about it, but it's interesting. Oftentimes I mention stuff like this, and there's some knowledgeable person in the comments that kind of go, oh, this is how it actually works. So maybe that's why I'm mentioning it. Anyways, we're gonna kill them all. So that's not good for the natives, but it'll be good for me, because I'll get my colony back. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and end turn and prepare for a possible ambush. Quite odd battle strategy by afraid of his own horse, chief afraid of his own horse, that he sends in 2 units of bowmen to attack before the main force arrives. It's all bowmen and chief bodyguards. So I imagine that we've got, the entire warrior class and the upper echelons, all the chieftains of the local tribes have come to fight us. We're facing about 6,400 with our army of 4,000, so we're slightly outnumbered. But given enough time to prepare, which they've given us by only attacking with 2 units, I'm sure we'll succeed. With that, let's go on to fight this battle. Given the terrain of this battle, it would be kinda suicide to go on the offensive, especially with the kind of enemy that we're facing, where we've got trees, high hills and low valleys, impossible terrain everywhere, and with the kind of mob-style enemy that can, the natives can sneak through undetected really everywhere. Plus, I imagine that cavalry is really strong, means that we're, to start off anyways, going to take a defensive position around this hill right here. It's going to be very important to be setting those stakes that the Jaegers can set out. That's going to be really important to get those in the right positions. With that said, let's go ahead and start, and what it looks like is the enemy reinforcement is coming in right behind the main force, the main starting force, which seems like they're gonna come along the road, and that would be just perfect. We're gonna set 1 line of spikes through here, and then we're gonna set another one through the openings right here, and that should cover this valley in front of us. Plus, we've got cannon fire going into it, troops, we've got the Jacobites, Scots as backup on the left, with the Grenadiers on the right. 3 units in front, 3 units in front. Cavalry in the back. Let's see. Yeah, we seem to be getting the entire line out of this unit, so all spikes, that's really good. We can actually have the Jaegers sit kind of here up front to start trading some fire with the bowmen marching forward here to kind of lure the enemy into position to attack. Given that they are kind of slowly just moving towards us, I think what I'll do is I'll kind of have the entire thing kick off as soon as the major fight starts with the reinforcement army. We're gonna have a little bit of a look here as the bowmen are about to come into range of our riflemen. And they should be starting taking some heads to start here. Ooh, and the cannons reach. So now there are 2 units. We've only seen one. I imagine the other one is just behind. We're getting tons of good kills here on these bowmen. Yet the reinforcement army is slowly coming to the field. You'd imagine they'd sort of get a move on hearing the fire. But then again, the 2 units that were sent out were more kind of skirmishing forces, meant to just locate us, more so than to start any kind of battle. Currently, we've been able to destroy the Mesoamerican nation bowman unit without taking a single casualty. Oh, the second unit just popped up over on our left. And these guys have been starting firing arrows on us, and we have in fact lost a rifleman. I would want to drag them into the range of my on the fire on my units. Maybe even a howitzer. But we've seen the power of the riflemen with the cannons to aid. But still waiting for the main force to attack. One of the bombs just went off. So I can imagine that we do have sneaky natives making their attack right now. The problem is, as far as I can see on the map as well, as we can see, a lot of the cavalry units, or all the chieftains, are moving on the left. And not as many troops are actually seen down in the valley, where I was hoping to catch most of these. Now, I did already notice that, so I deployed 2 units, the Scots and a Dutch line infantry to cover the woods, like quite thick woods. Put the Grenadiers as reserve and have these 2 facing this way. But it looks like a lot of the enemy's army is actually going to turn up on our left. So I might not even need this unit over here, so I'm going to send that one over as well to aid on this side. And also, as we can see, I've got the cavalry units hidden in the woods there. The idea was actually to have hidden units on both sides, have the native army move down into the valley where I could destroy them, and then have troops come in from like the sides and fall down upon them once they were sufficiently broken up by the artillery. I think the howitzer will do good to fire at those clusters right here. because they are forming a big square. Should be a pretty good target. You guys aren't actually hitting that well. It would be nice if they actually aimed for the center of the unit. I could have destroyed the entire unit. So far the cavalry continues on the march. Oh, now they've actually turned towards us. We have lost quite a number of Jaegers due to the bow fire from these troops down in the valley. They haven't set off the second bomb as of yet. I'll allow them to fight until they reach about 100, then we'll pull them back. I don't know if the cannon shots are that great. Now we can actually see troops going on an outflanking maneuver over on this side. I'll deploy you further like that, and I'll push you slightly more forward here. You know what? As much as I want to hit this area, now there's loads of units down there. Oh, and now the Scots have started trading fire with a unit out there in the woods. The Scots are actually losing more troops than they are killing at this point. Oh shit, now they're down to 62. I didn't notice they'd lost that many. Damn. We can imagine that these guys are losing tons as well. And I can only imagine similar things are gonna happen as the battle continues. The bows are really good. We're gonna have to push out into the woods here to get these. And I'm gonna activate the cavalry to go after them. Okay, so we've got Wallis going out from the Dutch infantry. But I think we might even do better at this point with push of bayonet. Turn to face these rifles. If you can kind of set up in the middle here. So far not really. Oh yeah, now we're starting to take damage. And we're gonna take lots of it. So we were able to break that one unit. But now all the enemy chieftains are coming in. Sending the cavalry. Suddenly I'm not sure it was such a good idea to remove as many troops as I did from this area. We might have... since it's mostly cavalry, it might be best to have this one there. And then march the grenadiers back to the fight. Okay, you two are should open fire. You should go back. Try to hit as much of the enemy cavalry as possible. I'm lucky that the enemy decides to facilitate us by actually marching up to meet us. However, this unit suffering heavily from the bows coming in from the side. Should kind of drop out there a little bit. In the woods, the Scots are holding on. Our cavalry is catching on to most of these bow formations. These guys are down by 2/3. That's not great. Grenadiers have arrived, but now at this point, most of what the enemy has down here is actually dead. And now with tremendous volleys going down upon them, they're trying to climb, but it's not going to work. Form into line and hold fire. I'm pretty sure you're just shooting the Scots at this point. 18 cavalrymen. That cavalry unit is probably not going to get out of there. Are they able to fire from bow, or what are they doing? The guard cavalry having trouble. Oh, we've got quite the amount of troops coming at the Scots here. Lots of bowmen. I don't want it to erupt into a melee just yet. I'm gonna pull the Scots back. And then I'm gonna open up with these guys as soon as the Scots have cleared most of it. Fired well. Nope, just as they stop. Move. God damn you, move. "13 cavalrymen. Hopefully that's enough to have the unit actually survive. It's hard to tell what's going on here in the woods. This line is getting beset, but it looks like we're holding. Most of these guys are getting destroyed, but it might be time to push out and try and kill them. Still plenty of troops fighting over on this side in this mess. Got the Scots firing up towards the natives up here. We've got a huge concentration of them coming in there. The enemy's temporarily falling back, but only to make way for a new wave. And I'm gonna kind of reset the forces on this side, and we're gonna see about killing them. The second bomb hasn't. The enemy has been running back and forth across here, and they haven't been able to set off the second bomb as of yet. Oh, we weren't able to open fire in time, and the units are now engaged in hand-to-hand combat over there. You know what? We'll sweep these two units in and bayonet charge them from the back. Move forward, get better position. Rifles almost out of fire. I just noticed the pile of dead down here, all from that bow fire, but the same. Look at the body count climbing the hill. The horse guard needs to be removed from that fight pretty darn soon. So here we go, the Scots are now coming in, charging in from the back to aid the main line. Not entirely sure who's going to be victorious here. As I imagine the natives are probably quite high melee stats. It might be better to pull some of the troops off and then fire into this mess. As most enemies... Oh, now they set off the second bomb. It's kind of thin right here, so I'm gonna push this unit in. Horse guards are holding on for now. I might soon tell them to... You know what? We don't need the Grenadiers over here. Grenadiers, once again, march over here. We don't seem to be finding a fight to actually put those guys in. So yeah, we're losing quite a bit of troops in this hand-to-hand combat, which is not great. It's opening up a hole here for this unit, actually, to open fire into. And these guys is just... There's just 130 of them. So I'm gonna pull these guys out. We're gonna be shooting at our own men here a little bit. Oh, the Jacobite Scots are wavering. Because the Dutch line here falters. This one falters. Oh, the Jacobites are running away now. Going into hand-to-hand combat with the natives was a bad idea. The Grenadiers are on their way though. And with the unit of line opening fire into this. Oh, there goes the Horse Guards. This indeed will be a very bloody fight. Well, now the chief's bodyguard is coming out of the woods. With that little small unit coming into attack. We've got smaller groups of infantry rallying. Our most prestigious general is going to ride up, try to rally the troops. Grenadiers should have a good shot at meleeing these guys. Given that they completely fresh unit has turned up way out there. I'm gonna need troops over here just to stop that little unit. And these to quickly march to the aid. Redraw the lines a little bit here. Get the rifles so they can actually join in. The Scots aren't rallying. We have a rifle unit. What do we have here? Infantry unit coming back. Looks like we're about to break the enemy over here, and the Dutch... Oh, the Scots, they're rallying now. They're gonna be pushed back into the fight. Hold your fire, you're most likely just shooting friendlies at that point. We're gonna face this unit of bowmen. We're gonna put everything on that one. Reorganize just slightly. And then you will set up over there. Scots will come over to that side. And then the rifles out in the very flank. Right, then it's only the native chief here that is holding on and fighting. Grenadiers turn to this side. So what we have left in terms of enemies is this unit over here. And that one down there. And then this chief over on this side. Keep killing him. Should be within... I'll turn this unit slightly so it can shoot down the chief. And then at the same time we'll turn this one a little bit. Should give them room in free field of fire to shoot the unit down. With now only 2 guys left. And they're leaving the field. And soon enough the bowmen down here will be leaving as well. This fight was a lot tougher than I thought. So the Native American units are really good. The accuracy and the killing rate of those bows, together with the fact that they're really good at melee stats, makes them really good warriors. We had 2 bow units come in and almost slaughter some of my most veteran units. And elite units. Like the Scots. But for now, it seems like there's only 1 unit left. And it's this one down here. I mean, the bombs are totally useless. I don't think... Yeah, look at the bodies around the bombs. And then all my traps that I set up. It's going to be super important to set up the spikes where the enemy cavalry is going to come in. And then the enemy cavalry decides to go through the woods. Even if I had set up spikes here, I couldn't have set up spikes in the woods. Because you can't set them up there. We have a unit rallying way out here. But yeah. The fight is won. We have won the fight. And all units except cavalry are still on the field. Very nice. Now, there was some unit, I think the unit there rallied, but I mean, we know what's coming. We are victorious. And here we have the result of that battle. The enemy deployed, as I said, about 6,400 men against 4,000. The enemy lost 5,800, leaving only 500 men left to retreat to their main settlement. But our army was definitely humbled. 4,000 men reduced to 2,000, having 2,000 men lost. Looks like we killed about 500 of our own men, according to this, because we lost... No, wait, it's the other way around. So we lost, and they killed, so we lost about 200 men to friendly fire. That's not too bad. The enemy lost about 500. Cavalry units were utterly destroyed by this battle. If we go into the statistics, we can see Dutch line infantry killing almost... I mean, it's killed 1,100 troops. Lost 95 men. It must have been that one that was stationed close... No, that was the Waldeck infantry, I'm pretty sure. That was stationed... They had 305. Yeah, I think it was the one on the right, closest to the cannons. Because they were about 300 at the end. They were... Damn. Then Jaegers, 700... Howitzer, 600 Jaeger, Dutch Waldeck, Dutch Jacobites. Jacobites did really poorly in this fight, but then again I sent them into melee pretty early on, and they were firing into the woods, not causing much damage. They actually lost more than they killed in this battle. Poor deployment on my part. Cannons didn't do too much. 12-pounder land cannon did more because it was firing canister. Cavalry did poorly. Grenadiers did really poorly. Well, they lost 30 and they killed 30. Horse Guards poorly, and Regiment of Horse did poorly. So, I mean, those native cavalry really did a number on them. But it's the enemy turn, so let's run through and see if we can't march in and just outer us all for the long. We've got a Metz mine being raided by the rebels. And then status quo, local contacts, expansion. 35% recruitment cost to all land units, minus happiness middle classes. And some other unhappiness. Expansion. I think it's... We must go ahead and... what's it called? Nationalize conquested areas. So I think that's what I need to do. Got the army board on Ceylon. And then some ports being built. Religion. What do we have here? Intrigues at court. we'll have to deal with it by paying them off. And then I should be able to... yes. So... oh, he actually survived? What's his face? Afraid of his own horse. Maybe he wasn't even able to get seated and go into battle because he was too afraid to mount his horse. Probably that's why he is the only surviving nobleman out of that battle. Anyways, that's an outer resolve. We lost 300 men, the enemy lost 3,000. So we definitely made up for the terrible loss or the terrible victory in the last one. Occupy the area. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, they do have the mine going, but we'll turn that into rubble. And then we'll actually have to turn most of these buildings into rubble because we want to build our own stuff on top of it. That will work a lot better. So all the buildings need to go. And then we have to rebuild the infrastructure. It's going to cost me 6,000 to repair this, and it's going to need new cavalry to be recruited for this army. Mesoamericans destroyed. But otherwise, pretty darn good. Even though the battle didn't go that well for us. Next time around, it looks like we'll be facing off against the Portuguese in India, as we will... as we're both racing to attack or save Hyderabad. Looks like the Portuguese will be able to get there first. Not entirely sure if I'll be able to reinforce their attack on them. They do have quite the amount of troops around that area, but as soon as these guys are ready, they should start marching, take out the big Portuguese area, and that will surely send them away. With that said, we're going to say as we always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.